Hi there, it's Tiffany from Daisy Farm Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a little tutorial for this newborn baby hat. I'm using Bernat Softy Baby Cotton and a size G 4-point crochet hook. All right, let's get started. So you'll want to start for a newborn size with a chain 6 inches long. For me, with this size of yarn, it was 30 chains. But all you'll simply do is just grab a tape measure, or I mean a ruler, and I just have my chain, I just kind of lay it against there, 6 inches, and then I'm usually pretty good. So in case you want to use different yarn. Okay, so we're going to begin with one row of half double crochet. So I'm also going to change this up and work in the second chain from the hook. Usually I begin half double crochet in the third chain, but for this pattern, I'm going to start in the second chain. So yarn over, insert my hook underneath the top loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 3. Work half double crochet in each chain except for the last 3 of the chain space. Now for these last 3 chains, we're going to change the stitch to a slip stitch. So that means you'll just insert your hook, yarn over, pull a loop back through, and continue to pull a loop through. That's a slip stitch. So just enter your hook, yarn over, pull back through, and continue pulling back through. You want these last 3 stitches just on this end of the chain to be slip stitches. Now I will chain 1 and turn. And now let's begin the row with 3 slip stitches. And you can just work under the front. You don't have to go underneath both loops because I know they're a little bit tight. So I just work right under the front one. One. These are super tiny. 2 and 3. Now here's where we're still going to stay with the half double crochet, but it's where we insert our hook that's going to be different. So I'm yarning over. Now usually in half double crochet, you insert your hook and work underneath these top 2 loops. That's regular. Or you can do just the back loop or just the front loop. We're going to look at our work and insert our hook under this front bottom loop. That will give the fabric just a little that braided look across the front. Here, I'll do a few and I'll show you what is going to happen. It's like you're pushing the V's that are on top of the half double crochet to the back of your work. So I'm just working half double crochet. And if you turn it over and look, you'll see that you're getting that pretty little braid. And that's what will be, down the hat. That's what gives it that little cute ribbed look. Okay, so keep working this stitch all the way down the end of the row, and then we will chain 1 and turn. Now here's one thing that is going to be a little bit tricky since we only chained 1 and turn. The last stitch of the row kind of is hanging out down here on the end. You're still going to want to make sure you don't miss it, but the difference is I'm going to have you work underneath the 2 loops because this is the end of the hat that will be, you know, right there on the forehead. So we want to try and make that edge look as smooth as possible. So chain one and turn. But when you start the row, it's still okay to just go underneath the one. I think that still will look okay. Now, if you have a hard time finding this stitch, mark it right now. Go ahead and put a stitch marker right there, and then you'll know that that's the last stitch that you need to work into and underneath both loops. Okay. Now all I'm doing is I'm going to work that half double crochet, this front bottom loop, half double crochet all the way to those remaining 3 slip stitches, and I'll still just work a front loop slip stitch on those last 3, and you'll see that your hat will start kind of naturally gathering in at the top. So keep on going. All right, so here's what I'm saying at the end of the row. Now this fourth one kind of looks like it's, you know, it still looks not like the other one, but still just go underneath that front bottom loop, and then you'll see that you have 3 slip stitches left, and sometimes that first one is hiding. So you might want to look at it, make sure you have 3. I'm just putting my hook underneath that top loop, and then I'm slip stitching through. Chain 1 and begin again. You can already tell that, see how that just tucks that in. Okay, you want to make this part 14 inches. So however many rows that is, with whatever yarn you're using, bring out your your ruler again, get it to 14 inches. So it's going to start growing 14 inches. And then I'll show you how we sew it together, and you've got a little hat. So how does your hat look? So this is what you want to measure, is across here. Try to, you know, kind of straighten it out. This should be about 14 inches. For me, this ended up being 42 rows. So now that we're done, I'm just going to go ahead and tie this off, cut this off, give myself a pretty long tail to work with, because we are now first going to take our little hat and sew the 2 sides together. So what I have here is a tapestry needle, you know, with a large eye. We're just going to thread our needle here and start by sewing these 2 sides together. So I like to just kind of go in and out in a circular motion. So I want to just make sure I start down here in this very first stitch. Pull that together just to make sure our ends are going to be matched up. Now on this side, I'm only going to go underneath the bottom loop, but on this side, this is our starting chain, this is our last row, I'll go underneath both of the V's. I'm just trying to disguise this join as much as possible. So anyway, that's what I mean by going in and out. I just grab here and then I go underneath the other side and just work every stitch up like so. All right, so I have all of this sewed up as neatly as possible, and Hopefully that will disguise that the seam kind of looks. So anyway, now here I am at the top and not using that tail quite yet. Now what I do is I go in and out of these stitches and pull, gather the hat together like so, kind of pulling. Just keep pulling it in. Get that one out of my way. And then when I get back to the end, I like to just tie it tight with the starting tail there. And that kind of helps it to be together. Just pull it in and then I just tie this and you've got yourself a hat, just like that. And then you'll be able to attach the pom-pom. And usually I just tie this in a knot and thread it down through and then I'll attach the pom-pom because nobody will see your ends on the inside of the hat. So that's how that looks. Okay, and that's how you've got your little newborn hat. Now I'll have more sizes and the size chart available in the blog post on daisyfarmcrafts.com. You can find that link down in the descriptions on YouTube, but you can pretty much make this hat any size you want if you just can get the measurements of the size that you need. So this is for a newborn. We did 6 inches by 14 inches wide. All right, you have a good day.